Yo, 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 what up, boys and girls? Happy Friday, NFA, be your own alpha. Let's go. Hope everybody's enjoying the vibes. Hope you've had a good week. And we're here today. We made it. Yeah, the market kind of up and down, no? I've been noticing a lot of big dubs, big L's, a lot of controversy still, a lot of drama. A couple rugs. Pretty normal. You know, everything pretty normal all around. Yeah, so we won't have Mr. Tagline with us today. We won't have Michael, but y'all get me, and then we'll have a special guest coming on in actually not too long. His name is Phil. He is going to give us a little bit of tax guidance and answer some questions about taxes and also maybe LLC, whatever you guys have. Of course, this isn't like legally binding or anything like that. All DYOR. But yeah, I'm glad that we have him here. Obviously, some of you may have already submitted your taxes, like myself. But regardless of that, it also is going to help us going into the future, right? Like for this year, we're gonna be better prepared to handle taxes if we're not all going to jail. So no Tagline, what a quitter. Yep. Yo, Kinkle, I see you. JVB, what's up, brother? Just a fish, GM. Yo, spam the GMs in the chat, appreciate it. Not gonna lie, I have a little bit of neck pain, but that's all right. So let me get this going over here. Pull up the screen for y'all. We'll just go over some market updates and stuff because why not? That's what we do. Take off the banner. Neck pain from following that Permies chart. Hey, you know the vibes. Yes, sir. So let's just look over the quick 24-hour floor change. We got Goop Dudes leading the pack at a 0.6 floor, 156% up on the 24-hour. I've seen a lot of people talk about these. I, to be honest, I guess I missed these. It was probably late at night. I don't know what happened with these. Even if I would have seen these, I probably would have not minted because this looks like a total rug. But that's not a diss on the team. I just haven't done my research about these. It's just these have been the only thing that I've seen in Discord and on the timeline today. I've seen people go crazy about them. I've been out running errands and stuff, so I haven't really got my time to DYOR on that. But yo, Negator, what's up? Toasty laces out. Yo, welcome, GM guys. Almost GN, I guess, for some of you. Yo, that's crazy. Only 2 projects with a 3-digit 24-hour floor change. Pabsy though, that's a little bit easier to do when your floor is down there at 0.15. Doesn't take a whole lot to do that. What else we got here? We got Boss Beauties making waves, Mutant Cats. I thought those were dead. Rubber Duck Bath Party. Don't forget about those guys. Let's see. Penelope's Country Club, PCC. I think I still have one of those. Rug Radio Membership Pass. I do know a little bit of news about these guys. They opened up their token claiming again yesterday, so that's out there live for you. I'm pretty sure that's roughly about 30 cents, 33 cents at the moment. In terms of Rug Radio Pass, actually, I'll just bring that up for you guys. For those of you in Rug, I know Matthew A has quite a few of those. Let's see, Rug. We are at, nope, we're down, yo, we're down bad. Yo, it's over. We're broke. We're broke. Rug at 20 cents. Yo, Law Dog. Kristen, what's up? Happy Friday, happy Friday. JVB said a bunch of typical influencers have been pumping goops. The good old influencer pump. Crypto Dad's hanging in there at 0.11, not dead yet. All right, so let's check the other side. Let's check the red. LSS. What is LSS? Lost space. What's that? Oh, Lost Souls. Okay. I don't even know about them. Fishy Fam, yo, big rip to whoever minted Fishy Fam, whoever bought the top there. Clay Friends, Nuclear Nerds. Oh, Nuclear Nerds, they're hanging in there. A lot of support for Nuclear Nerds. A lot of people say good things about them and the team. So that's no hate to Nuclear Nerds. I think good things take time to happen. We got Smiles down 15% to 0.8. So if some of you were looking to get into Smiles, I don't know. Not saying it's the bottom, but they are down. So it's always good when you're not buying on a green day. Get things on a discount. Not financial advice though. Atom Bomb Squad, they're way down from their huge pump before they had I think they reached a little bit above 1 ETH early February. 30-day high was, or 30-day average was 0.6. So yeah, it's kind of your market at the moment. The other thing that I like to do is just go to OpenSea itself sometimes and come over here to the stats, check the volume. We have Clone X in the lead. Now, I haven't heard anybody talk about those today. To be honest, I kind of feel like people are somehow still sleeping on the Clone X, and that's not pumping my bags. I'm just mean all the talk today has been about Goop, and I still hear everything about Azuki. And then what's the other project people were talking about today? My point is, I don't think I've seen anybody tweet out about Clone X yet. They're number one in volume, so pretty crazy. Ape Tuma, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Akuma's at 1.14. I wasn't hating on these, but I don't think I believed in them. I didn't buy any. I didn't pick any up pre-reveal. They have a unique look. That's something that they have going for them. And then right facing versus the Azuki and Onis and stuff, left facing profile. So yeah, pretty interesting take there. Let's see. Anything else above? All right. So Azuki, I mean, yeah, 2 out of the top 3, 23,000 volume. That's still pretty nuts. Azuki's been having a hell of a last 2 weeks. GG's to them. GG's if you have an Azuki up there, 26th floor. Not too shabby from a 1 ETH mint. Cyber Brokers still doing their thing, 4.5 ETH. Ghostly Ghost, shout out JVB, 0.45, hanging in there, almost cracking the top 10. Rip if you minted a Vayner Sports Pass, whether you minted one or not. They did decide that they were going to refund people the failed transaction costs though, which is mind blowing to me. I mean, shout out to those guys, but it's mind blowing to me because they're going to end up reimbursing like at least two times what they made from the sale. So I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. What's at number 11? Oh, in volume, it's Ghostly Ghost. Sir, verified collection here. It's the first truly omni-chain NFT. So maybe it's not the first omni-chain NFT, but it's the first truly omni-chain NFT. Roaming the Ethereum mainnet, these little cute cuddly guys. All white though, I don't know. That's a hot take. I don't know if all ghosts have to be white. But that's neither here nor there. That's kind of just some market stuff. I did want to hop in and make the most use of Phil's time. So let me just check with our guest, see if he's ready to come up. Yo, GM, what's up, Bitch Dark? How's it going, my guy? Y'all ready to ask some tax questions and stuff? Whoops. Yo, leaks. Yo, delete the VOD. No, it's just a holder roadmap anyways. Doesn't matter. It's not the internal roadmap. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to see. Okay, yo, Philly Phil said he's ready. So you guys are about to get the tax alpha. Let's go ahead and bring him on stream. Yo, when I bring this guy on stream, y'all got to spam the emotes. So got to spam the emojis. Welcome my boy Phil to the stream. You know, get the vibes up. So without further ado, we're gonna bring him on up. Yo, Phil, how's it going, my guy?
What up, Jeremy? I'm really happy to be here.
Yo, welcome to the stream. Welcome to NFA. We've actually had a few requests to bring you on, and we finally got around to it. Finally found a good spot. It's a kind of about a week before the tax deadline, though, and I know a lot of people have already submitted their taxes, but hey, we figured now is better late than never. So
crazy hours right now with the work I'm doing, but yeah,
for sure. Thanks for making time for us. I know you probably had a hell of a week, and I know next week it might be pretty rough, but there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Crypto Dad Cliff, what's up? And anybody else new join? Law Dog, I think I said hello already. But yeah, thanks everybody for being in the stream. And I know you guys probably aren't here for me today. Tagline's missing, but we do have special guest Phil. So Phil, can you just tell us a little bit about maybe your not too much detail about your professional background, but kind of like what about your professional background led you to the space, or who introduced you to the space, and then how have you participated in the past year, and then what have you kind of learned from the scene, and how do you apply your previous knowledge to what you do today in your NFT collecting?
Awesome. Yeah. So my friend Snow, as you know him, Jeremy, he's in your Alpha Discord group. He made a bunch of money with you guys. Didn't mint a 4 ape though. He missed out on that, but he was lucky enough to get a mutant ape. He told me about the NFT space, about the wealth that's being made, about the investments, about the utility in some projects, and of course the rug projects as well. But he's the one that got me to the space. What I love about the space the most is the art, the people, and then I like how the IRS has no idea what they're doing about this industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there wasn't like a whole lot of, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but that's what we noticed, is that there wasn't a whole lot of guidance in the space in terms of NFTs because it wasn't as huge of a market. I mean, we're in the like 2,000% increase in terms of NFT market spending for last year, which is absolutely nuts. I mean, there was a lot of guidance out there for digital currencies and cryptocurrencies, but not necessarily NFTs, right? So what's been just before we get into the tax stuff, what's been your favorite thing about the space, and then what's been your least favorite thing?
My favorite thing is the art. There's so many talented people out there, and I think art is extremely important to a project, but also not the whole project. There definitely needs to be some utility in a project. So that's by far my favorite part about the NFT space is the art.
Okay. And so did you expect that when you came here, or did Snow tell you like, hey, it's just these stupid animal PFPs and people are buying them for crazy money? Or did he say like
basically that's what he said? Basically that's what he said. And there are some projects out there with some terrible art, some stupid crocodiles, or I don't know, some really bad art, but the bags pump on those projects, and it is what it is.
Yeah. So what did you get into the space instantly after he told you? Like, did you just trust him and just dive straight in, or did he have to tell you about it a couple times over a few months? What was that like?
So first it was the Top Shot.
Okay.
We jumped in with him. I didn't put that much money in, but first it was Top Shot, and then he told me about all the money made in NFTs, and then I knew about NFTs in general from the general media, all the craze around it. So I kind of hopped in. It didn't take much for him to convince me, but I aped in. And I'm looking back at it, and I think I should have done more research on products I aped into. But it is what it is, and then I like the space in general.
Were you involved like in crypto at all before NFTs, or?
Yep, I had a whole Bitcoin at some point back in 2016. Back in 2016, I had a whole Bitcoin. There was another friend that got me into that. he's more of like the sketchy kind of friend, does drugs and everything. But those are the so one thing about the crypto market is that it'll always have the illegal activities to lay on. Like illegal activities will always have a place in crypto. It's not a bad thing. I think that's something that's good. Decentralization, that's all really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's always like it's illegal activities or evasion or like anything in any industry. Like, in if there's money there, there's always going to be some type of like suspicious and illegal activity, right? And so that doesn't change with crypto. That doesn't necessarily get better or worse. Actually, it may get a little better because it's even harder to do in terms of like money laundering. It's actually harder to do on with crypto versus just cold hard cash.
Right.
But anyways, so what kind of collections are your favorite? What have you collected so far? What do you look forward to? Like,
so not to toot my own horn, but I really love my project that I have going on right now. I know this stream is not for that right now, but I've got a really amazing artist. He's so talented, and he creates amazing stuff. So that's the project I'm looking out for, my own project, and I'm looking forward to that. Types of projects that I look for, utility, not only marketing, not only people that go on Twitter and pump their own bags, but I'm also looking for projects that from a marketing standpoint does their own marketing instead of getting people that raid tweets or raid all different kinds of people that say, hey, this project's the next big thing, when it's just pumping their own bags.
Yeah, and that's I did put the link in the chat for those who want to like check out Phil's upcoming project, 11011 Dragons, or however you want to say it, 11011 Dragons, 11,011 Dragons,
11011.
Yeah. So whatever you want to call it, definitely peep the art on that on the Twitter. I mean, it's like Phil said, he was not gassing himself, he was not hyping it up. This artist, John's his name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, John. Yeah, I mean, this guy killed it on these dragons. Now we do see, and I'm sure you guys may have other assets. You've already thought about this, but we do see sometimes when the colors are more complex, like there's a lot of contrast and there's a lot of detail in the pictures. Like it's hard sometimes to come through in a profile picture. But you can't really account for every single platform, every device. And I think for me, what matters is when you view it in large format, or when you drill down on it, right? When you open it up and you see how dope that picture is, that for me, that adds a lot of value. I'd rather have that versus just some little glob.
Totally, I agree.
With
that was
no
one
eyes
thing.
or something.
One thing about the project that I wanted to do right was the art.
Yeah,
and I found someone that was a great fit.
Yeah, I think you nailed that. All right, so for me, I mean, I know we kind of have two topics to kind of talk about, but I really just wanted to hand you the floor and tell us, hey, what's ground zero? Like, what are the basics or the fundamentals of NFT taxes? And then maybe you can go into, for the people who haven't filed this year, maybe what are some tips or things that they should look into for 2021 to make sure that they're taking care of themselves? And then after that, then maybe just what should we be aware of going forward for 2022?
Yeah, those are great questions. So if there's one thing I'd like anybody to take away from this stream is that do not use TurboTax, do not use H&R Block, do not use those big corporation, get their tax return done as quick as possible businesses, especially if you're in NFTs. If you find the right CPA, he will get you the right numbers, the right refund or tax owed. He will get you the right thing, or he or she. Do not use TurboTax, H&R Block. They will do it as quick as possible. They do not know about NFTs or crypto gains or anything like that stuff, or even how to treat crypto assets. that's the most important thing that I'd like to share with everyone. So that's the first thing. Another question you had going forward, what should you be careful of? Definitely keep a balance on the side of taxes. Like, you don't want. I mean, we can see it right now. During tax season, the market's it's been down since December. I think a huge part of that is because people are selling off to pay taxes. I know our guy, what's his name? Shoot, Schiller. He had to sell some NFTs just to pay his taxes, I heard.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's most of us, but there's varying degrees, right? So like, do you have to sell, one thing for 3 ETH or 5 ETH to pay your taxes? Because I mean, some people may have made 10,000 last year, some people may have made $1 million last year. So there's varying degrees, but I think for the most part, when you consider any degen, they probably had to have sell something this year in 2022 to help them pay for taxes last year. But like you were giving a tip for 2022, and your tip was, hey, make a new account, make a dedicated account off to the side where you start putting your taxes over there, your tax money over there, so that way you don't touch it, right?
Exactly. That's exactly.
We do have a question from Pitch Stark. He says, how do you even go about finding a crypto tax specialist? I mean, can I go to, my mom's, the person that she uses for tax? Can I go around the corner, or like?
So I think the best bet, I hate to say this, but you gotta be a little bit ageist. The guy who's 6 years old, running his own CPA firm, he might not know anything about crypto, while the millennial CPA, around 30 years old, who sells a drive, who still learns every year, he will know more. So there's no tax specialists in crypto or NFTs specifically, but there are CPAs who are up to date with the markets and wealth around the world, and they will know how to treat NFTs and crypto.
Yeah, and we do have another question, but one thing that I wanted to ask as well is, you said okay, find a good personal CPA now, and you said do not use TurboTax, H&R Block, all those guys. That's fine, but there are some marketed platforms for crypto and NFT taxes, right? Like Coinly crypto or NFT taxes. I think it's like cryptotaxcalculator.com. Sites like these. Did you try any of them last year? I mean,
I have not. I'm only familiar with CoinTracker and ZenLedger.
CoinTracker. Okay, yeah, and ZenLedger is another big one that people talk about. Now, what's your advice on these platforms?
So between those two, it was varying numbers. 110%, you have to use a software. If you made more than, I would say, 25 transactions over the past year, it's gonna be a lot of work for you to calculate everything on your own. So I do recommend the software 100%.
All right, so just so I have down here as a little banner, I said basically invest in a crypto NFT tax software. This doesn't mean invest as in invest your money into the company. Invest in their invest in their license, right? So go ahead and buy the license. The thing for me, my approach, and this, I just want to preface this isn't what Phil told me to do. What I did this for the 2021 tax series, and he kind of alluded to, he said he himself tried out 2 or 3 of them. I tried like 3, 4, 5 of them, and I just thought it was worth the money for as much as I made, and it doesn't even have to be a lot actually, but for as much as I made, I figured, okay, what is it gonna hurt if I buy licenses from all these tax software companies and just see what they give me, like see how in alignment they are. And then also if there's one feature that works better versus like another software, does it give me the the entire output form that I need for the IRS, or does it give me a CSV? Does it allow me to go in and edit? Does it show me the amount of gas fees that I use? So there's a ton of different features and benefits that each one could provide for you. But for me, I just found it like, why not just go ahead and pay for multiple, right?
Yep, for sure. What was your biggest difficulty in some of the softwares I used?
My thing was sometimes the way it was making me go back and edit all the spam tokens that I received via airdrop.
Yep.
And that because they do have some inherent value to them, right? Whether it's, a tenth of a penny or even more, whatever, more or less, it doesn't matter. Now those tokens, it's detecting that they have a value, and it's showing that, hey, like I got them airdropped to me, and I had to go in and edit what I did for that, right? What that event was. And because I think depending on the software you use or the advisor that you go to, those airdrops it's like a taxable event essentially. And
correct.
But what I've been advised is that if I go out there and I perform an action, right, like me myself to go and claim those tokens, then that's really the taxable event. And then versus if I just get them airdropped to me for something that I was unaware of, or that I didn't want, or something that I didn't do, then those are the ones that are considered kind of like spam, and
right.
I don't have to put those on my taxes.
Correct. So I know Snow, he got I think it was malicious coins, because it was the Zen Ledger was valuing it at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
and that wasn't the case. So I'm just definitely don't even report it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where I found that most of my effort kind of went into. And then I'm just going to bring up another graphic here because we do have a question in regards to, let's see. So I'm going to add this on my stream. You might see it pop up here. But we have a question. My sister, actually, she said, exactly how much should you set aside for taxes? Now, there's some misunderstanding and myths here, like, hey, should I, instead of making 250,000, which puts me into another bracket, maybe I should have made, I don't know. Let's see what it is here. 40,000 less, so I can get into the 32% bracket. Like, is that right for people to think, or is that completely wrong?
So
do you see this commonly?
This is a great question that I actually made a thread on my Twitter. The common misconception is that when people say I'm making, let's say the 24% line, I'm making $164,000. If my boss gives me a raise of $1,000, I'll be in the higher tax bracket, and that will give me less money. That is not the case. That is not the case. So I have a great example of explaining it on my Twitter. I could definitely link it to you, Jeremy. It explains it pretty well. So what happens if you make money over a threshold of a tax rate? You don't pay 32% of all your taxes. You pay only 32% of whatever money you made over the threshold.
Yeah.
So let's say we made $165,000.
Yep.
The first 10%, the first $9,950, I would pay 10% on.
Mm-hmm.
The next $9,000 to $40,000, which is about $30,000, I would pay 12% on, and then the next $50,000 it'll be 22%, and then the next $80,000 will be 24%, and then only $1,000 would be 32%.
Yeah. So, I do have a screen up on the stream, but for example, and it kind of does the math for you here for the last attainable bracket that you had. So if I made $165,000, right, that would mean that I don't owe 32% on the 165,000. I would owe, in this example, if you're a single filer, 33,603 plus the 32% over this, so 32% of $75.
Exactly. Correct.
So it's not. This isn't. I forgot what the other word is, but we have in the United States, we have like
Progressive.
a progressive tax bracket, right? Versus whatever else the other word is. But this is progressive where it's like, fixed. So again, just like Phil explained, a lot of people have this misconception where, okay, maybe they get a raise, maybe they earn more from NFTs, and it moved them into another bracket. And because that's commonly said, like you're moving into another bracket, people think in their head like it's a fixed tax rate where they're now taxed at a higher rate, and maybe they would have been better taking less money or making less money,
Right.
because now they're losing more of their mony. So as Phil just explained, it's not true.
Right, that's a common misconception, and there's plenty of memes out there actually, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, so I mean, if that was the case, that would suck.
Yep. So it's called a flat.
Lot.
Another name for it. It's called a flat tax rate or regressive tax rate. That's what it's also called.
Cool. But then so this is just kind of like ordinary income or like flow through income and stuff. But generally in NFT trading, is there a rough percentage that you would say people should set aside as they go along? I mean, if they're not doing the math every single day, right? If they're not consulting a tax software every single day, I mean, if I sold something for 10,000 right now, generally how much should I put to the side?
So that's a great question. I think around 30%. Unfortunately, that's a big chunk. But if you want to be safe and you want to be ahead of the game, so you don't have to sell off when everyone else is selling off, which is December, November. Even now, people might be selling off to pay their taxes. I would say set aside 30% of whatever you make.
Set aside 30% of your profit, of your NFT profit, right?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. And so that's kind of what I was doing on OpenSea last year. So like on OpenSea, if a collection had a 10% royalty, and then OpenSea also takes 2.5, and then taxes, would take another 30, that's really 42.5% that you have to deduct, or that you have to consider in terms of what price you want to sell that NFT at, right? So that may eat all of your profit, and you may end up actually only making, less than $100, $0.
Exactly.
Sometimes. You could even be negative.
Yep, and you can't forget gas fees. So
yeah. So but those are on two different sides, like, right? So gas fees, you kind of get to deduct from your cost basis, right? And then so that's when you acquire the thing as well,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or typically when you acquire, you there could be times when you accept offers that you are also paying a gas fee, which then you should also deduct. But most commonly, when you purchase an NFT, you're going to pay that acquisition cost, that cost basis of the gas fee. But when you sell, you should also take into account that you're going to lose whatever the collection royalty is, plus the OpenSea fee of 2.5%, and then plus you need to set aside 30% of that sale or that profit to like some set aside tax account. So is that everything so far?
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
So with gas fees, I think that was a great point you brought up. So gas fees are deductible. So and also another point I want to bring up is when you're bidding on OpenSea, that creates gas fees. So those gas fees, what I would do is, even though there's not enough rules around it, what I would do, I would deduct it from your Schedule C. I don't want to get too technical because people won't understand, but that's where an LLC comes in to help, and you can deduct gas fees off your LLC.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, and then you're gonna hear advice from Phil here today. You may not understand all of it. We kind of just encourage everybody to do their own research, but you're not alone, right? So follow his Twitter, hit him up on Twitter, find somebody who's knowledgeable in your area, right? Like Phil said, it's most likely going to be somebody who's younger. Doesn't have to be. There could be some mega NFT whale who's like 65 years old, but chances are you're probably looking for somebody younger, more tech savvy, like involved in crypto and NFTs. The more knowledge that they have about the space, probably the more understanding that they're going to have about what we do. And then Toasty says, don't need to set aside the extra percentage if you sell for a loss, right? So that's also true. Like if I buy something for, I don't know, just dumb numbers, 5,000, and then I sell for 4,000, it doesn't even matter that taxes, right? In terms of that 30% that I have to set aside.
Yeah, I
because
mean,
I didn't make a gain.
Correct. If you want to do accounting on the run, you could do 30% of the 2,000 loss you just made. So if you set aside, 30% of all your profits, you could also net the 30% losses. So then you'll have a little running accounting that you could do, so that you only set aside what you need.
Cool.
Does that make sense? Or
no? Yeah, I mean, it's basically just, it's in accounting. Basically, everything should equal, right? What goes in, it goes out.
Exactly.
And so essentially, if you're taking that 30% from the gate, setting it to the side, you should also kind of like when you take that loss, you're going to be, when you do all the math, it works out to where you can essentially put 30% of that loss back into your, what would you call that?
Exactly. You could take 30% loss out of that balance you put on the side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not 30% of your total balance. Don't go do that. It's 30% of that loss that you made.
Correct.
So, don't hear that wrong.
Right.
I did include the link to Phil's thread here. But I want to make sure that all the viewers, still ask their questions. So be sure to get them in the comments and the chat. But we can kind of touch more you just mentioned it, kind of like forming an LLC. What do you see as the benefits to forming an LLC, and what type of LLC in the NFT scene?
Yep. So I think first thing we should talk about is when you should file an LLC, or if you should file an LLC. You should file an LLC if you're making the majority of your income from NFTs. If you made $10,000 this year, it wouldn't be worth it. But when you make an LLC, it's also a commitment. It's a commitment that this is your job. This is what you're gonna be doing. So you do need to keep tally of all your expenses, all your income. You have to do accounting, basically. That's what you need to do. So thanks for bringing this up. So if NFTs, if it's your full-time job, you should form an LLC. It protects you if you get sued. If you're doing your own project and they come after you because the project didn't do as well as you thought, if you don't have an LLC, they come after for everything you own. So, but if you have an LLC, whatever the LLC owns, that's what they could sue you for.
And so what do you advise? Because I could see people making LLCs, but then what if they continue to use kind of like their personal funds, personal wallet, personal Coinbase? Like, does all of this have to change, or is it okay if I use those resources?
So it is recommended that you should change. You should open up another bank account. You should make a new wallet. Well, not a new wallet, but you should definitely make a new bank account, and you should keep. You're running a business essentially. You're running a business. That's what it is. So.
All right. So if I make an LLC, I should at least have maybe like different bank account, maybe different Coinbase account potentially, or exchange.
So yeah, Coinbase is a little not decentralized. So I would make another Coinbase account, but another wallet from MetaMask, not necessary.
Okay, cool. Jeremy's sister has a question here. Y'all mentioned software earlier. What, in your opinions, were the best NFT tax softwares to use?
Unfortunately, I thought Zen Ledger was the best. From some feedback I've gotten, it's not. I can't answer that. I'm sorry. But definitely look up some reviews. I know if there's good reviews, majority of good reviews, it's definitely a good software probably.
Yeah, and if anybody in the chat has some suggestions or what they ended up finding to be the best, me myself, and I'm not saying for everybody to go out there and use it, but the question is here. What I ended up going with was non-fungible taxes. Now they don't have the best built out feature set, but they ended up being the most like frictionless. Like I gave them my wallet addresses, and in terms of having to go back and fix transactions, there was very, very few that I had to go in there and do. They pretty much put in their algorithms, being able to check like which ones were kind of like that spam, which ones I transferred back and forth between my wallet, which ones were kind of like gifted to me. So I didn't have to mess with any of that stuff. So they were very mindful of all of that. And so I only found myself having to go through and fix a few of them. That's why I ended up going with NF taxes, non-fungible taxes. But the other ones I used were Coinly. It was like crypto tax something.com and Zenledger. Zenledger seem like a pretty high tier platform, kind of like Phil said, and I think they really are. But for the most common user, when you're just doing NFTs as well, it may even be too much, if that's a thing. So if you're not looking for that, if you're not looking for maybe the most customizable, maybe the most detailed, probably wouldn't recommend them. But yeah, just go look around on Twitter as well. Probably Twitter has a lot of good recommendations from trusted sources, not just any random degen that you see on Twitter, but from your trusted sources that you already collect NFTs from. Like, ask them their opinion. But yeah, for me, I went with non-fungible taxes.
Awesome.
DJ Toasty, I don't know. I never call him DJ Toasty. Toasty says, I like CoinTracker. It handled my transactions really well. It had a few spam transactions, but the UI made them easy to deal with. So Toasty says CoinTracker, and Toasty, yeah, definitely, that's my guy. Definitely a trusted source. If he says it's good, I'd imagine that it's pretty good. We have two more questions regarding LLCs. PitchDark says, when starting an LLC, how would you handle pre-existing assets?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are two ways you could do that. So I'm assuming you're talking about NFTs. So there's two ways you could do that. You could make a capital contribution to the business, and that contribution would be your NFTs. That's like essentially donating your NFTs to the business, or you could sell it to your business. You could sell it, so it's a clean transfer. Those are the two ways you would get your assets, your personal assets, to an LLC. Obviously, I don't think you would want your house on an LLC. I don't think you would want your car or life savings in the LLC, because the LLC is the hot business. It's the hot seat if you get in trouble. So that's one of the benefits of having an LLC, is it protects you.
And then we had the other question: does the LLC pay taxes, or do you as an individual pay taxes on the income you pull out? Do I have to pay myself as an employee? So
That's a great question.
I'll let you answer, but I think it's gonna come down to like the structure of or how you structure the LLC, right?
Exactly, you're spot on. So there's S corps and there's C corps. C corps, I love C corp. We don't like C corp. C corps are double taxation. So what that means is you get taxed on your business, and you get taxed on your personal. But there's also benefits from each, and the S corp is just a straight flow through. So the question is, does LLC pay taxes? Yes, LLC pays taxes, depending on which structure you have, an S corp or a C corp, and or do you as an individual pay taxes on what you pull out? Yeah, same answer. It depends on your structure.
PitchDark, just a little follow-up on the transferring assets. He says, how does that affect personal income taxes in the event of a sale or a gift? My guess, and again, like, this is just opportunity for you to tell me if I'm wrong. My guess is that because you're kind of like transferring it to yourself, because I'd imagine you are the owner of the LLC as well, doesn't really count as that like taxable event necessarily.
So when so from a donation standpoint or a capital contribution standpoint, it's almost taking it as like an investment, as if you're investing money into a company. That's what happens when you transfer or when you donate the assets. But if you sell the assets, then it's just a clean transfer, and on your taxes you're gonna say I sold my NFTs for whatever it is, and that's it. So you have no capital contribution towards the business, and then the business starts off with a loss. That's how it would work. So it evens out either way. So the question, sorry, to go back to it, the question is, how does that affect personal income taxes in the event of a sale or a gift? From a sale, it's even in and out, and as a gift, it's a capital contribution, and you have a basis, which is deductible on your Schedule C.
Cool. But if it's a gift, how is that NFT valued? Like, it's not going to be, hey, what's this gold fur trait floor valued at, right? Like,
So, yep. So what you bought it for, that's your basis amount.
Cool.
What you bought it for is that's your basis amount, and then whatever amount you sell it for. So your question was if you donate it, right? So if you donate it, it's whatever you bought it for. If it's mint price, that's how much money you contributed to the LLC.
Okay. So if I sell my NFTs to my LLC at a loss, in essence, I create a tax loss and just have a higher potential gain for the LLC.
So if you sell your NFTs to your LLC at a loss, you would get a gain on your personal, but then you'll get a loss. Wait, I'm sorry. So if you sell your NFTs at a loss. Exactly. Yep, exactly. So your LLC will get the gain, and then your personal will get the loss. Exactly.
And that's why you're kind of saying like it's basically evens out.
Exactly.
Because you're selling to yourself, but in the structure of an LLC.
Yep, it just flows back to you basically.
Yeah. All right. Is there any service that you would use to create your LLC? Are there some steps that we should take beforehand? Are there companies that you recommend, or should we just go to like our local CPA?
So you could do this yourself. It's really easy, but some people just don't care and just throw money. That's usually how it is when you're doing businesses. You throw money. That's a startup cost, but it's really easy. You have a state registration system. I'm not sure about all the other 49 states, but I know Florida, it's sunbiz.org. That's the business registration place. So you could do it yourself on your state business registration site, or you could pay a CPA to do it for you, or LegalZoom, or there's many people who would do that for you, because it's such an easy job. It's really simple. Do it yourself, but at the end of the day, you can do it with other people.
Let's see. I guess that's pretty much the end of the questions right now. Is there anything that you've thought of that you've kind of missed or you wanted to get to? Any more LLC kind of like
so
tips?
I see a question by Dark again in the chat. He says, but the gain will only create a taxable event once the LLC sells. That is not the case. Only it will create a taxable event if the asset sells. So once the asset sells, that will be the creation of a taxable event. And so we can go back to that question. What was the question, Jeremy?
Just if you had anything in your mind, like any other questions that you may have expected that we didn't get to touch on, anything that you forgot that you want to mention now.
Yeah. So NFTs, essentially it's a lot of quick sales, quick money in it. Unfortunately, that's what creates the highest tax rate. So if it is possible, sell more than a year. I know Bored Ape Yacht Club. Most of the people that are minted, they'll be getting the lowest tax rate possible, which is great for them. But when you're doing quick flips, that's like the high tax brackets. So we have short-term gains, which is buying and selling within a year, and then long-term gains, which is buying and selling after a year. And there's a tax rate difference between the two.
All right, I'm just gonna put that in here as well because I feel like that's a one that people don't know too much about either, and maybe they think it only applies to, I don't know, stocks or something, right? So short-term gains, like as you said, that's when you purchase and sell something in your possession less than a year. Long-term gains is when you sell that asset after you've held it for a year or longer.
Correct. Right on point.
And now, does that matter if it changes wallets? Does that matter? It has to just be like consecutive and like in your ownership, right? So let's say I own 5 wallets, I could kind of like change that asset around. It's still kind of like under my possession. Mm-hmm. But let's say if I sold that to my friend and then he resold it back to me again, I can't say that I've owned that thing for a year from the first date I had it, right? It would be from the most recent acquisition date.
Right. So transferring between wallets is not a taxable event. You're still in ownership of it. Just obviously, if that's your wallet that you own, that's what it is. Transferring between wallets is not a taxable event. So you could still get that long-term gain.
Cool. And then Pitch Dark with the follow-up, he says, sorry for the extra question, but if I could get some clarification, if I buy an NFT for 1 ETH, sell to LLC for 0.1 ETH, the LLC does not sell for the fiscal year, would both essentially operated at a net loss for the year?
Right. So if you buy NFT for 1 ETH, sell to the LLC for 0.1, your LLC would buy it for 0.1. That would be the loss for the year. And then once the LLC sells,
and it's really like, for the way I'm seeing it, and just maybe I act as Pitch Darker, I don't know. But so my personal, I would have a loss at 0.9 at least. Just simple term, not considering fees or anything like that. I would have a loss for 0.9 on the personal side. And if the LLC does not sell for the fiscal year, it's not even necessarily a 0.1 loss. It's just like they have bought something for 0.1, but they haven't yet sold it. So they haven't made a gain or a loss really, right? Because it's still in their possession.
Right. So essentially both would operate as a net loss for the year. Correct.
Yeah. But then once I do sell that, whether it's in that same fiscal year or the next one, then let's see, that's when I would really say if I have like a gain or a loss. But that 0.1, that acquisition price, that cost basis does factor into your overall like gains or loss, right?
Yep.
Maybe nice. Pitch equals the feds.
You've asked some good questions, but so both of them will be at a loss.
Cool. Yeah. Just given the example like that he used, that he didn't sell it in that fiscal year.
Yep, exactly. So it will be at a loss, and then the 0.9 difference, that would be taken into account again at some point, and then you'll pay taxes on that.
Yeah. Cool. The other thing is, you mentioned Bored Apes. Bored Apes actually started minting like 423 this year. I mean last year. And so, do you expect people to like start selling maybe in a couple of weeks, Bored Apes, after they have that long-term gains secured?
I don't think anyone's thinking about that. To be honest, I don't think anybody's thinking about that unless you got the tax guy that minted into it, and he said, "My plan is that I'm gonna get my taxes lowered at a year." But people don't invest just to get that. I mean, I do see maybe 1-2 people doing that, but it's not gonna be something that's gonna be a huge market.
You're not gonna see like a major sell-off or anything.
Right.
Yeah, that was my kind of guess too, because you gotta think, okay, they started minting this year, but the number of people that still hold their apes from the mint date is pretty low. So you think like, oh, there's 10,000 apes and now they're gonna sell after they got the long-term gains. Like most of those people that hold an ape now, a very large majority of them, they're still not at that year mark where they can get the long-term or be taxed at the long-term gains rate. Their acquisition date was much later. So the population who would qualify here coming up in about 2 weeks, I feel is pretty low. And then, just take, even if you take 50-50 of that, 50 people who want to hold and then 50 people who want to sell, at 50% of the small population, I don't think you're going to see it move the markets too much.
Yep. So Dark, I'm seeing your comments in the chat, Twitch chat. So there is a lot of talks about even just selling to another wallet for a loss, and then you just build up that loss consecutively, and then you have a loss on your tax return. That is not good if the IRS catches you. I mean, so essentially you're not supposed to do that, which is what you would do from when you're transferring the assets from your personal to the business. So that would be the transfer, and then you couldn't. All I'm saying is, don't do suspicious stuff, and then the IRS won't come after you. But just you could do that and get it done so that you could have your assets under the LLC and protect yourself. If that made sense. Not really.
So I mean, do it for like a good reason. Obviously, IRS kind of understands like you would want to protect your personal assets and stuff. This is why it makes sense to put them into an LLC, but do it the right way. But don't do it continuously or for like nefarious reasons where you're trying to defer tax payments, right?
Correct.
Because eventually too, I mean, you're kind of still gambling at that point as well, because if you defer but then your assets kind of just go to zero and then you sell them, you're going to own, or first of all, you may not even be able to sell them and you will owe that tax bill at some point, and then now your assets may not be worth enough to cover the tax bill that you've deferred.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Alrighty. So let's see if there's any more last minute questions that would come up here at 6 o'clock. Just want to shout out Phil again. Go ahead and throw up the banner there. NFT tax on Twitter. I know you are probably booked, right? Like tax day is on the 18th, but pretty much nobody wants to work on a Monday or over the weekend. So I'm sure that you're looking to get everything done for you and your clients by the 15th.
Yep, totally. I got hammered last weekend from this tax return, and they had 71 shareholders in there, and I was just going through it, and it was crazy. It was a $20 million business. It's a medical device startup company, unrelated to NFTs, and that killed me last weekend. So, we got 10 days. So I like to do my work before the 15th, but the IRS allows you to send in your returns by the 18th, since it falls on a Friday.
Yeah.
That's something that's in the law, or that's what the IRS does. If it lands on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, it gets pushed up to the next Monday.
Monday. Okay. And just a question for that, just asking for the chat as well. Does that mean like I have to send it digitally by the end of the 18th? What about time zones? What about like the delivery time for the mail?
Yep.
Should I get that? What do they call it when you send it envelope with
physical mail? Snail mail, whatever. So that's a great question. So when you send it in the mail, the post office stamps it. If you send it on tax day, it considers filed on time. So that's a great question. So as long as you get it in the mail, as long as you send it in electronically before or on the tax day, you're good to go, because the post office works with the IRS pretty well.
Okay, cool. What are as we just kind of close up here, what are maybe some nightmare situations that you've seen thus far? Have you handled any NFT tax reporting for other people's this year? What could you imagine that's kind of like the worst case scenario?
So those are great questions. So there's one client that's doing some metaverse stuff. It's a startup. They're doing some metaverse stuff, and they're trying to get into like Pokemon Go type of scenario, but with NFTs. I can't disclose who the company is, but that's what they're doing from an accounting standpoint. But your other question was, what's a nightmare situation? Is when a client would send all their required documents at 11:30 p.m. On tax day. That is a nightmare experience, and they expect it to be filed on time. So that is a nightmare experience.
So let's say I'm totally here, doesn't pay his taxes this year for the NFT money that he made last year. What happens this year? How long is it going to take for it to catch up to him? How long is he going to jail?
So tax fraud is 5 years. If you don't file your tax returns, every year you don't file it, it's 1 year. So,
so I'm looking at 5 years. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
5 years, 60 months. I could do that.
But if the IRS doesn't catch you within 3 years, you're good. I think I forget what it's called.
So there's a thing though, like if they don't do their job.
Within 3 years, they can't go back at you. I forgot what it's called. It's a common phrase in law.
All right, say less. Yo. Okay, so is that the same thing as tax evasion though? What you just mentioned? I know you're not like FBI cop, whatever. It's not necessarily the legal side. You know the legal structure and the format and the rules of tax guidance, but just, is this something that you've seen before? Like people legit don't pay their taxes, 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. What are some of those penalties that you've seen?
Most of the time, if it's your first time, you're good. You're not going to jail. I've never seen anybody go to jail. I've seen penalties, plenty of penalties, and plenty of interest fees assessed onto your taxes. I've seen that a lot. And I also seen clients that they're scared shitless because they want to get aggressive, quote unquote, with their taxes. And now the IRS are sending them letters saying this was wrong. But in reality, the IRS can't tell if it was an honest mistake or if it was malicious. But obviously, if you're selling your NFTs to other wallets to get a loss every year, they'll know it's malicious.
Yeah, because at some point you're gonna have to like liquidate that, right? Or you might want to pull some money out, unless you just want to live off Ethereum. I don't know.
Right. But I mean, at some point it's gonna happen. I hope.
Where we can live off Ethereum.
Yeah, McDonald's starts accepting Ethereum at some point.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously Phil here does not recommend not paying your taxes. He recommends to pay your taxes legally and on time. So he's not suggesting otherwise. But in the case that you do not, and they catch you, you're looking at, potentially 5 years. But at the same time, he has not seen somebody go to jail or go to prison.
Right. But I don't have billionaire clients though. So
yeah.
All those people that you see in the news where they evade taxes and go to jail, those are millions of dollars. So.
Yeah. So, and JVB said maybe here, like, maybe it's because they want you to work in and still pay them the money that you owe them rather than not get anything. And so I'd imagine that, okay, yeah, they'll follow you up in some legal proceeding or court, and they would then set you up on some type of back payment plan, right? With penalties and potentially interest as well. That's what I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, you're spot on. Correct.
Okay. And they're probably not going after the fishies, right? The little minnows. Like they're probably targeting people with high gains and huge bills of tax avoidance. Okay.
Yeah, there's like something out there where like the IRS doesn't care about $100,000 or less, something like that. It's not true. I'm not gonna tell you it's true, but there's something out there where people say, listen, $100,000 or less. If you're making over 100K, you should be careful. If you're making under 100K, they don't care about you.
Yeah. Cool. So I appreciate your time. Another question from my sister real quick. She says, do I have to make a separate form to include my teenage son's wallet in NFTs? So he's no Kokina, right? But let's just say roughly, he made $4,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Does she need to file a separate form?
No. So you need a, unfortunately, this, NFTs and crypto, IRS hasn't gotten there yet. What I would do, I would just put under your name, and then when the IRS figures it out, then you'll make amendments or whatever it is, because you can't, you at under 18 years old, you couldn't sign up for investment accounts, right? So
yeah, so it's kind of like a gray area and like a lack of guidance there.
Exactly. So the IRS doesn't have anything on that yet.
Yeah. So maybe when you're doing the tax software, just include that wallet address and just kind of aggregate it, combine it all into one.
Yep.
Cool. Sweet. So yeah, that is Phil. That is NFT Tax on Twitter. Go ahead and give him a follow. Also, take a look at the 11011 Dragons. Check out the artwork. Peep the artwork, because that's pretty fire by his artist that he found out there, John. And that's like a big sticking point for them. They wanted the art to be super hot, and in my opinion, it definitely is. It's got to be like in the top. If we made a tier ranking, it's got to be in that like A tier at least in terms of what I've seen. And that's not gassing. That's like legit. I mean, you'll see what I mean whenever you go to the Twitter profile. So,
thank you.
Cool. Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you for replacing tagline for today. We might have to make this a permanent thing. I kind of like the vibes. Yeah.
Next time I'll put my camera on.
Yeah. No, next time I'll put the camera on. I'll write up the termination letter right now for Michael. And yeah. So breaking news. We got Phil coming on as a permanent guest. But awesome. Cool, man. I'll let you go. I'll let you grab dinner and stuff, hang out with your lady, have a good weekend. And I know you need it. I know this week's been busy for you. You probably have a busy weekend as well. Good luck with everything in the next week as you kind of wrap this season up.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you. I enjoyed my time in here, and I hope to be on here again.
Cool. Heck yeah, man. All right, have a good one.
No problem. Thanks again, guys.
See ya. All right, so I don't have too much content in terms of like segments and whatnot, but I did want to point out a couple of things that should probably be on your radar, or at least be there on my radar. This is Drifter Shoots. He has an open edition mint happening tomorrow, mañana. Drifter Shoots, if you don't know about him, he is a photographer who who mints his photography as NFTs. It's pretty large market cap, like pretty large floor. He's one of the most popular, or if not the most popular, NFT photographer. He has an open edition minting tomorrow. You can see the schedule here. I'll put the link in the chat. I believe, let's see. Dang, how much is this gonna be? Was it like 0.09, 0.07 or something like that? I had the information, but then I kind of lost it. But that's the link. You can check it out. That's going to happen for the public at 3:09 Central, 4:09 Eastern, 1:09 Pacific. Accutars, the Accutars that we talked about last week or this week on stream, There are 9,241 of them. That ended up being the total supply. 529 mega OGs, 2,503 OGs from the pre-existing collections, and then 629 random. If we go take a look at those in the collection right now, those are going for 0.65. We see a little 0.7 sell in there as well. So it's kind of just popping off. The announcement was made just at 5:38, so about 40 minutes ago. So yeah, if you're interested in the AccuTars or AccuVerse and you didn't meet the snapshot, this is your next chance to kind of get those. In my personal opinion, 0.65 is just about actually where I had it. I think I was saying I'd feel good if I bought these within 0.55, 0.65. I bought the existing pieces for 0.7 and 0.79. So now I kind of have those pieces and a free AccuTar Mint Pass. So overall, on paper, I may be up. But if I didn't have those pre-existing collections, 0.65 is, I still think, a comfortable place to be at to get in. After reveal, you know, pending that the price here kind of stays, or all things equal, after reveal, I'd imagine that they could drop down to 0.5 at the worst. But the ceiling, you know, obviously the ceiling, you'll see multiple ETH sales, I believe, after they do reveal. What's another one that I wanted to shout out? Also just the 1101 dragons here. I mean, you got to look at John's art. Like, look at this stuff on the wallpaper on the iPad that he's drawing here. That got to be some super hot fire. You would never think that this would be a PFP because you wouldn't expect like that quality of the work, especially like when you zoom in and you see the individual like shading and elements on each scale. Pretty nuts. But that's Phil's project coming out. What else did we have? My mind's kind of drawing a blank. I know that there was a couple things. Also, I wanted to take a look at the Ape Price. Ape Price, we're at 10.75, so we did drop below $11 again. My take here, I do have ApeCoin obviously because we got the airdrop, but my take here is that I'm looking into another entry point to kind of like stack up on Ape because the upcoming land sale, that if we were to go by the leaked pitch deck and stuff, and as they've already tweeted out, right, the whole other side is powered by ApeCoin. So at the moment, we're assuming that all land will be only purchasable via Ape token. So because of that, I'm looking to kind of stack in and get into Ape, have another position in Ape before they officially announce that in additional details, like how much Ape it's going to be, how much the wallet limit is, how much, you know, this and that. Like, anytime that information comes out, I do think you see a price movement in Ape upwards. So I'm just trying to kind of snipe the bottom and load up on Ape. Oh, Moonbirds, yeah. I think I've talked about them so much this week that I kind of just want to forget about them. But thank you, Pitch Dark, for the reminder. Moonbirds, and also my neck is hurting. So it's kind of like making it hard to think. But Moonbirds, this is the official PFP of the Proof Collective, right? Proof Collective is a group of 1,000 collectors of high-tier art and NFTs. They need an identity, right? So they're dropping 2 Moonbirds to every Proof Collective holder, and then in addition to creating more Moonbirds for the public to feel like a part of their community, a part of the Proof community. So you're going to get access to the Discord, but you're not going to get full access to the Proof community channels. You will get a whole nother set in a large majority of the set of channels in the Discord if you own a Moonbird. That is going to be a raffle now via pre-mint. The qualifications are 2.5 ETH in your wallet, as well as linking your Twitter and Discord. And those social accounts do have to be unique. You cannot reuse those social accounts, but you can reuse the 2.5 ETH to enter, as far as we know. Moonbirds. And then, yeah, JVB said self-promo, so disclosure. Again, just because I feel like I've said it so many times before, but disclosure, I do own a Proof Collective pass. I I've bought it when it was 1.6 ETH. So that's how I'm getting 2 free Moonbirds. But even outside, disregarding those 2 free Moonbirds, I've registered for the raffle myself. I'm trying to buy additional. So we will have 75 spots to win, because you have the 2,000 going to the proof members, 2 for every, it's 2 by 1,000. And then 125 going to the, it's not DAO or collective, it's called the treasury. You just go into the proof treasury, and it'll be 2.5 flat. There won't be a gas war. You will find out if you win next Monday. Next Wednesday. You're gonna find out if you win, and then on Saturday, that's your opportunity to mint if you win, but you're only gonna get 3 hours. So be sure to check if you won the Moonbirds raffle on Wednesday, and if you won, set up like 3, 5, 10 alarms like for Saturday when the mint window opens, because you're only gonna get 3 hours. And if you miss out because you forgot to wake up, because you had an event, because you were out getting pizza, because you were hungover, and you didn't mint Moonbirds, I don't think I will ever forgive you for that. I think we'll indefinitely call you like a fish or something of this manner. So be sure to set your alarms if you win, and be sure to mint. If you don't have the ETH to mint, but somehow you won the raffle, right? Talk with your friends, talk with your trusted friends. Try to go in on one as a group. Try to find somebody who will split it with you. Try to, split it 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways, whatever. Put it in a multi-sig wallet. Do something. I would say if you want an allowless spot, find some way to mint that. I'm not saying sell your car, sell your baby, whatever else, sell your engagement ring. I'm just saying find some way to mint your Moonbird. All right. So yeah, I think that's it. And to be honest, I probably kind of want it to be it, because the back of my neck is like pulsating right now. And then shout out to, you know what we should check on? One sec. We should check on the freaking golf thing. What platform is that through again? Oh, we have it on our Twitter, don't we? NF Alpha. I know I just scrolled by it, but I'm trying to view the site because I don't remember what the site is called. Oh, Easy Office Pools. Cool. Easy Office Pools. And here's the leaderboard link. Cool. Go. Got it. Yo, Jeremy's sister. Yo, sheesh. Yo, shout out. Yo, Jeremy's sister. Kristen up there in the lead. Number 1 with a 2 under par. Let's see. Her leaders right now are Hideki and Shane. On the back of the pack is Patrick Reed and Tommy Fleetwood at +3. We got King Edgar. That's Edgar. That's another IRL friend for me. Scotty Scheffler. Yo, nice pick. 8 under par. That's pretty wild. Lucky Tyler in there as well with the Scotty pick. Manga. Yo, who gave this guy the alpha? Because he's at only +4 over there in 4th place. I know Manga doesn't know anything about golf. So yeah, that's kind of sus right there. Insider trading. And then 5th place, Connor and Concrete. Not sure who it is, but shout out. Hey, much love for you participating in the raffle. And thank you for being a sub. Hope you win that WoW Galaxy. Scroll down to the bottom. We got Astro Bros and Team Toli. We got Yoons and your boy Yo Jeremy, number 44. Astro Bro, or the bottom 3 have one thing in common, and I'm gonna let you guys figure that out. It rhymes with Call Pacey at +32. I had an L pick. It looks like a couple of us did with Louis Oosthuizen, because he ended up retiring with backing out of the tournament with a lower back injury. So yeah, that's a fat L. Yeah, this is Masters. Negador for sure. Pitch start. Pitches, I don't know, Golf Squad is at number 34 with +21. +21. He did have the tiebreak, -15. I think that's a pretty good call. Probably somewhere in between 12 under, 15 under. Yo, my sister put 17 under. She was pretty confident somebody was gonna have a good weekend. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of your leaders. So Kristen in the lead at number 1 for the WoW Galaxy. Shout out to everybody here in the top 5. Shout out to everybody participating, but the top 5 definitely, you guys are killing it. There is kind of a big spread though. There's a 7-stroke spread between the top 5. It still can go either way. 7 strokes in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot, but we do only have 2 people under par. So yeah, pretty interesting there. GG's to everybody so far. So Akutars, we got Micah Johnson. Akutars by Micah Johnson, the open edition by Drifter Shoots coming out tomorrow, and then the Moonbirds raffle that you have until Sunday, I believe. You have until Sunday to enter the raffle. You need 2.5 ETH, your Twitter, and your Discord account. And then the other little bit of alpha was just, hey, look at, if you don't have Ape, try to find a way to get Ape before they start announcing details, because in my opinion, I believe you may see some upwards price movement in Ape. And I guess that will do it. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for participating in the chat. Thank you, Phil, for coming on to the stream and answering people's questions. Hope you guys got some good tips. If you need suggestions, hop into the Schillerverse Discord. Don't ask Schiller for tax advice, but ask everybody else. Like, hey, what tax software did you use? What did you like about them? What did you not like about them? Which one did you end up filing with? Who did you use to file? Did you use a common service? Did you find a CPA in your area? Is there somebody on Twitter I can go to? So ask questions. That's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to stay knowledgeable. Don't ask questions like Gokina and then disregard the answer. That's just called an asshole. So don't be that guy. But other than that, yeah, we're there for you. I'm there for you. I'll give you exactly what I did. Feel free to DM me, tag me in the Schillerverse Discord. I'm always going to be there to help, and we got a week to do it. So, yeah, appreciate everybody showing up, showing out. As always, be your own alpha. Peace.